Since 1979, a small ribbon of gravel in North Canterbury has been luring the best drivers, both rally, road and off-road, in New Zealand to challenge themselves and their machinery at the Ashley Forest Rallysprint. Be it the record or a class win, they all have been or will come to win one of New Zealand's most famous hill climbs. The Magic Minute was first cracked by Rod Millen in 1988, but it was another legend, the late great Kim Austin, who stamped his name in the record books in the 90s with 3 event wins, all sub-60. His 1999 win saw the record drop to 56.57, a time that would stand for 17 years. In 2017, Rotorua's Sloan Cox and his aptly named hill climb beast smashed Austin's record with a 54.96 and went on to win the event in 55.13. The new record time generated huge interest in the once iconic event, and teams, drivers and crews from all over the country began making plans to get a slice of the action.
Yep, another year here. I think it's 5th year now, and we can't wait for another great year, and the weather's come on like it has been for us.
Seeing what times could be attained on a fine day under good conditions brought even more fans and drivers back to Ashley Forest.
Yeah, obviously always look forward to coming here. It's probably one of the highlight events for us. Come with a car with a free rein essentially, and obviously a great atmosphere. So no, always look forward to this one.
Back-to-back-to-back champion in 3 different cars, Rangiora's local Matt Summerfield couldn't stay away.
Yeah, it's excited to be back for another year. Always trying to better ourselves, come back every year, and stoked that the weather's turned it on so we can get some good times.
One of the best to have never won the event, Christchurch's Michael Tall. In 2015, he was the fastest overall, but couldn't make the final 2. Always a threat, he's hoping to bring his Mirage back to the top.
Yes, another year. Been looking forward to this for a while, so very pleased to be here. We've had a few issues with the car lately. We had a big crash 6 weeks ago and went off the road sideways and rolled many times. We don't really know how many, but over fences and so forth, so good to be here.
Whether it's for the record, a class win or a much sought after personal best, this little stretch of Mount Grey Road in the Ashley Forest has been bringing drivers and fans back to the start line for many years.
I don't think I've missed too many actually. There's some great magnet that keeps hauling me back here. Oh yeah, it's brilliant. It's just such a challenge and just no room for errors.
Unfinished business at the moment. This is year 3 now with this package, and we keep sort of falling short. So, but I think the event's building back up to the status it used to be as well. It went through a bit of a lull the last few years. We've really seen it come back with other competitors and spectators, and a real good sort of atmosphere. So, I'd like to be involved as long as I can to try and keep that coming back even further.
We keep saying that we're not sure how long it's going to go for, and it's still just a massive challenge. You versus the hill, and just have a big crack.
I enjoy the whole event. I enjoy watching it, driving in it, and just hanging out with all our friends and people out here. It's an amazing place to be.
You can hear what's going on. The times come down as the day goes on. There's a bit of that, a lot of camaraderie, and yeah, it's just a really fun event to come to.
I first visited in 2001 as a traveller for Scotland. And yeah, there was no trees in the hill then. I think it's second generation trees, and yeah, watched it and thought, maybe I'll go at that one day, and here I am, 3rd time. So yeah, been really good.
It's been a lot better since Hayden Paddon's come back, and even better, built his rally car to a hill climb machine as well. And he's been real competitive here. Hasn't got a record yet, and we don't want to let him have it. But we're going to have a fierce battle this weekend and both push hard as we can and see if we can both lower that record a little bit lower. But this end of this weekend, we want to walk away with it.
Yeah, I think Sloan, he's done this many times, and he's a benchmark. He's a very good driver. He's got a great car, a lot of power under his right foot, and he's got a bit between his teeth. He wants to keep his record, so it's great when you've got a bit of competition like that because it pushes us both, a bit further as well. So I really enjoy competing against Sloan.
When we did set the record, it wasn't the tightest run. We know if we can get our power down through his corners, we can be a lot quicker. It's about tightening it right up. Got the aero now, so we know it's possible. We think there's easy another second off the record. But as we found last year, we thought we could do it last year as well, and we struggled. Just couldn't get the right groove, but the first run today showed that the car can be capable.
It's a really tough event when you're talking high horsepower cars like this. You're really stringing out all the componentry and everything, and by the time you get into the elimination runs, there's actually quite a lot of runs the car's got to do. So I think first and foremost enjoy ourselves. Of course we'd always like to win. Probably the record's more important to us than the win, but even that might be a bit difficult this year.
Hayden Paddon attacked from the first of the qualifying runs. The first 4 all under the minute. His first run a 58.28. His second qualifying run a 57 flat. Some more adjustments, and by his third run of 55.15, his second quickest ever, he was in the groove. Good conditions in qualifying 4 see Hayden take the 2017 record of Sloan Cox, the 59.96, to lower it to 54.14.
Yeah, it's obviously nice to get the record. We know there's a lot more in it, and I think the record's certainly going to go a lot lower today, if not by us, certainly by Sloan. So, yeah, it's obviously nice to have it. We've been trying to chase it for a few years, but yeah, I think it's going to be pretty short-lived. We know we're losing about 2 seconds on the engine alone, so you know, that's quite humbling to know that we know a 52 was possible here, and so there is a 52 in the car.
Sloan Cox also attacked qualifying hard, and like Paddon, all his runs sub-60. Qualifying 3 his best is 54.98, perilously close to his own record of 54.96. With less than 1 second between he and Paddon, it was game on, and one thing was sure, the big crowd were in for one hell of a contest.
Wasn't the run we're after, slightly slower than our third run, and was definitely messier in the car. A few little changes we've done and maybe pushing a little bit harder. We know what we need to do to go faster now, so we'll get the car geared up and we'll push on in that first knockout round.
Come elimination time in the top 32 cut would halve the field. Meantime, at the pointy end, Matt Summerfield would join Paddon and Cox, all under the minute. Summerfield, the 3-time champion, showing his class in his Subaru. Hayden Paddon couldn't match his qualifying run or his new record, but it was close, a 54.18, only 4/100ths of a second off. The man from Geraldine only a cat's whisker away from lowering his new mark again. Sloan Cox did post a faster time than in qualifying, his hill climb beast stopping the clocks with a 54.88, his best so far. Great road conditions and a cold but still day meant times were tumbling right across the board. In the Superkarts Indoor Raceway 0 to 1300cc class, Chris Herdman went one better than last year and won in 1:11.40.
Oh, that was a lot quicker than I thought I could go, so I'm wrapped. Yep, probably 2 seconds faster than I thought I could do, so I'm more than happy.
In the 1301 to 1600cc class, sponsored by Southern Salvage, Jonty Brenchall backed up last year's win with a 1:11.13 in his Toyota Starlet, almost a second and a half quicker than last year.
4.97 for
Another going back-to-back in the Belfast Storage Classic two-wheel drive class was Waimati's Bert Murray and his Mazda RX-7, the conditions suiting Bert and the rotary, pushing him to a 1:05.54. Mosgill's Chris Hayes owned the Macintyre Direct Unlimited two-wheel drive class since God's dog was a pup. 10 times he has come out the fastest. His 1:01.73 breaking his own class record of the 1:02.15 he set in 2017, which erased the 24-year-old record of one Kim Austin.
I was quite pleased to get here, with, thanks to Hayden's crew getting me going again. Bloody magic, and we put in a reasonable time too, so quite happy. Right, we lowered the record again, so it's going to be harder next year, isn't it?
Is anyone going to be able to beat Chris Hay? Here are the class winners of the action at the Winmax brake pads, Ashley Forest Rallysprint. Welcome back to the Winmax brake pads, Ashley Forest Rallysprint for 2019. With the records tumbling, the conditions were good, so we asked the drivers what else is good at Ashley.
earlier on.
From the hairpin down, it's just an unreal feeling. Once you know you're through that dipper, the hardest corner, most dangerous corner, you're just fully on the power, and you very rarely lift on it downhill in these modern cars. When you cross that finish line, it's a relief, it's a buzz, and you just make sure you can pull it up before the tarmac, and you're away. It's a wicked feeling.
I probably like the uphill better than the downhill, just because it's easy to crash on the downhill.
Now this will be under the minute.
I actually always enjoy the dipper on the way back down the hill. A bit of commitment needed through there, and you can really carry a lot of speed and make up some time. So probably the dipper is my favourite corner.
Well, favourite, I guess the uphill really, because it's just a nice series of bends and you've got to get it right. And the downhill, I don't really like it because it's so fast and so scary, and you know, like every time I go down it scares the hell out of me.
I guess you put your heart in your mouth every time you go over through the dipper and over to the next right-hander, but you're going up the hill, I quite like that, you know, where you pick your break point, where you tip it in late or hot or whatever. Yeah.
Favourite part of the track would be after the dipper, definitely. Like, just from there to the finish. I don't really like the differ. It's usually prone for danger, but after that it's just cool flat to the finish.
It has to be the wiggly bit at the top, I think. You're pretty busy up through there. I'm not really a lover of the dipper, but I'm starting to come to terms with it, yeah. I think that's where I'm losing my wee bit of speed.
The next elimination would be the top 16. That meant that the big boys were stepping it up. With 8 to go through and 8 to go home, you can bet it was getting serious. This little mishap at the Waimate 50 hairpin and the resulting bloody nose to Dave Ollis's Subaru meant his 106 would not make the top 8 cut. At least I could smile about it. Jason McConnell has gone from being infamous, he rolled his Subaru here a few years ago, to a contender in his Mitsubishi Evo. His 105, a second off his top 32 time. He too wouldn't make the cut. Richard Bateman's been coming to the Ashley Forest for 9 years and usually double drives his Mitsubishi in rally and unlimited four-wheel drive. He wouldn't have been too pleased with his 104.47 in his New Zealand rally spec car.
Earlier on.
Trevor Crowe first won this event in 1985, the first South Islander to do so. Then he was in his V8 Starlet. With over 50 years of racing experience, he was back in his Crow Sport Subaru, his 103.72, 13th quickest. Daniel Feck continues the tradition of Danivert Car Club members coming here to Ashley. A regular in Hill Climb Series in the North Island, the Mitsubishi FTO driver was hoping his hometown form would transfer to the south. It didn't. Once again, Graham Bersing was driving a piece of history at Ashley Forest. The Don Hickman-built Mitsubishi Starion four-wheel drive that Kim Austin set his long-standing course record in. Now repowered, it still brings a smile to the fans' faces when they see it. Chris Hayes' 102.43 made him the fastest two-wheel drive in the top 16. But there were no real surprises there. It's been that way for over 10 years. He didn't make the top 8 cut this time because the competition was tough, but he would go on to further lower the two-wheel drive record. Gareth McLaughlin drives one of the straightest Mitsubishi VR4s you will ever see, and it's also one of the quickest. The Hastings man just missed out on the top 8 with his 102.03, and in doing so still beat plenty of much newer cars. The top 8 is hard to get to, and this year you had to go 1 minute or better. By now the teams have found a setup that works, and the drivers know the road. It's now just fine-tuning, looking for that little bit extra.
Well, we tried. We've got an improved aero package and we were hoping for a better engine package, but unfortunately we had some parts that didn't arrive in time, so we had to go back to a Plan B motor. So unfortunately this year we don't have the power we wanted, but the rest of the cars are a good step up from last year.
The biggest change for us is our aero package we got now. We knew in previous years we didn't really have much aero on this car, so it was a step we were missing. So this year we made a commitment to put some big aero on it, really.
It's definitely not specialised, just a normal rally car, but it's good. It's a proven package, and we'll just keep pushing it. Last year, ran the rally class, and with the restrictor on for the whole event, We're back in the rally class, but we've gone up to the maximum size restrictor for a start, which gave us another 20 odd horse. And then tomorrow when it gets serious, we'll take it out and gain a bit more.
We've got a little bit more horsepower, probably about another 35 or 40 more horsepower than we've had here before. So that's good. So hopefully I can get to use it. The road does feel slippery, but hopefully later we'll clean up and work good. And a little bit of extra downforce, a different wing on the back and a little bit of downforce on the front as well. Whether that'll help or not, I don't really know yet, but we'll see at the end of the weekend.
So this is what the top 8 looks like. Hayden Paddon in the record-setting 53.27. Sloan Cox in second place, Matt Summerfield. And Garrett Thomas, a surprise last year, coming in with that 1.00 clocking. Welcome back to the Winmax Brake Pads Ashley Forest Rallysprint. This is the top 8. Hayden Paddon at the top in the record-setting time of 53.27. First to go, though, it will be Jason Clark. Richard Bateman Motors are the sponsors of the Mitsubishi. Jason making his 4th appearance here at Ashley Forest. He won the Rally 4-wheel drive class back in 2016. Keep an eye on the Winmax Brake Pads clock as he makes his way up the top of the hill. Now, all matters from here on in, and it gets a whole lot harder. Top 16 time was a 1.00.29 with a 37.59 split for Jason Clark from Havelock. Oh, he just got a little bit untidy coming out of the kink as he now heads towards the Hella Notas corner. Nice cutting of the apex there, just drifts out a little bit wide, coming up for the split time, remember. 37.65 in the top 32, 37.59 in the 16, 38.15, so he's a little bit slower. Now that's going to transfer into a 1 minute clocking, I would think, for Jason Clark. Now will that be good enough? Because from 8, we will cut them to 4, and the calibre we've got here at the Winmax Brake Pads Ashley Forest, you would doubt that Jason Clark's going to go much further. Flashing through the Kumo tyres finish line he comes. It's going to be a 1 minute clocking. 1.00.92 for Jason Clark in the Mitsubishi. Is that going to be good enough? Now, this is Garrett Thomas. Now, he was the surprise package last year at Ashley Forest. He ended up finishing in 4th place. The man from Wood End. Wood End Automotive are the sponsors. It's a Subaru WRX STI. Only his 3rd year in motorsport, so he certainly hasn't got the experience of some of his rivals that are yet to go. You're riding on board here as he heads up the hill, full speed off the start line and straight into the first obstacle, and that is the kink. And you can see that the sun may be going to be a bit of a problem here at Ashley Forest as well. Nice and tidy through the kink. You see the car just get thrown a little bit to the outside of the track as he goes down towards the water table. Good at the Hella Notas corner as well. Nice tight line out of there. Looking for a split time around about the 37-second mark. That's what he did in the top 16. 37.46, 37.10. That's the fastest split ever for Garrett Thomas from Darfield. Now he hurls it down the hill. Are we going to see a sub 1 minute clocking for the man from Darfield? He did it last year, and as I said, he was a huge surprise in the Subaru. This year, not so much of a surprise, but this is a nice tidy run. Heading down towards the Kumo tyres finish line, and it is a sub 1 minute. 59.61. Have a look at the Winmax Brake Pads clock. 59.61. First sub-minute run in the 8 here. Matt Summerfield, 3 times the champion, back to back to back in 3 different cars, in Steve Murphy's Cordia, in Brian Green's AP4 Mitsubishi, and in this very car. You're riding on board, watching the young charger from Rangiora. His fastest split so far, a 35.89. That was in the top 16, and that transferred into a sub 1 minute clocking. This man started his rallying career in a Skoda 2-wheel drive car. He's come a long way since then, finished in the top 3 in the New Zealand Rally Champs. Have a look at the split times, got to be better than the 35.89. Very tidy out of notice now, heading up towards the Waimate 50 hairpin. Got to make this one count as well. Don't drift out too wide. You can see already very chewed out on the outside of the course. 35.69. That's the fastest split he's done all weekend here at Ashley Forest. Though this is going to transfer maybe into a low 58 or maybe maybe a high 57. Oh, and he just got a little bit wide as he came through just in the dipper there. The car just getting a little bit unsettled. Now it's a full throttle blast through the Kumho Tyres finish, and it is a 57.83. Fastest time he's done in that car, I think. He'll be happy with that. This is Mike Wellington from Dunedin, and this is a very special car because this is an ex-Hayden Paddon car and then an ex-David Holder car. Hayden got this car to run, I think, in his first or second year of the New Zealand Rally Championships. They didn't use it in the end. They had another car there. But this is Mike Wellington. He's been a bit of a veteran of the Ashley Forest Rallysprint, been around the sport for around about 20 years, had a bit of a break from it, has now come back bigger than ever, both as a driver and as a sponsor. He's a major sponsor of the Otago Rally through Mike's Cars, the Isuzu agent in Dunedin. Let's have a look at the split times. He works his way up towards the hairpin now. This is the corner you've got to get absolutely dead right. Cuts it in nice and fine. 36.73, that's his fastest split. Top 16 was a 37.19. That was a 1:00.67. Are we going to see Mike Wellington go under the minute here? You're riding on board as he comes through the plough dipper, heading down towards the Kumho Tyres finish line now. A full throttle blast. He's all concentration as he heads down towards the finish. It is going to be a sub 1 minute. Mike Wellington from Dunedin does 59.91, and he'll be pleased with that.
59.91, that's an excellent time from Mike Wellington.
First time I've ever broken a minute here, and that's what I've come here to do. So no, a real thrill, and the car's unreal. Still a little bit more to come out of it. So yeah, we've chipped away all we can. So I'm wrapped.
Well, proof of the quality of drivers we've got here and the condition of the road. That was a personal best for Mike Wellington. This is Sean Haggerty. He's got the proud Scottish flag on the roof of the Subaru. He joked last year that he and the Rally Sprint winner, Alistair McRae, were the only two Scotsmen in Canterbury at the time. He's a proud Scotsman, but he lives in Rangiora these days. Fourth at Ashley last year. Top 32 split was a 38.43. That transferred to a 101.79. He went quicker in the 16 with a 1:00.58. He's never broken the minute, has Sean Haggerty. Let's see if he can do it here. Out of Hella Note as he comes, just runs it a little bit wide, but the four-wheel drive pulls the car straight again. You're on board as he comes round the Waimate 50 hairpin, just about kisses the big tractor tyre, but that gets the power on nice and early. This is going to be fast if he can get the bravery pills in and throw it down the hill. 37.29, that was his fastest split he's ever done. Is he going to break the 1 minute here? Down towards the Plough Hotel dipper he goes, flashing towards the Kumho Tyres finish line. All concentration from the popular Scotsman, the Flying Scotsman. He does a personal best. He goes under the minute. 59.86 for Sean Haggerty.
Currently.
Well, a personal best for Sean Haggerty. You can't ask for more. You can't get much better than that. A clean run in the Subaru Impreza WRX.
Don't know what the time was, but it was absolutely awesome.
Under a minute.
Fantastic. Can't complain. Really good day.
So this is Mike and Lorna Tall. Mike got his motorsport career started off on two wheels as a motorcyclist. Four-wheel drive upgrades Mitsubishi, recently rebuilt after a scary, massive accident in the Catlins Rally. Mike has been the fastest man here in Ashley Forest before, but has always been plagued by mechanical issues. No mechanical issues so far. Best split time for him has been the 36.40 in the top 16. That transferred into a sub 1 minute clocking. His wife, Lorna Tall, sits alongside him as they work their way into Hella's Nota's turn, one of the landmark parts of the course here at Ashley Forest. Only 1.7 kilometres, and it all happens very, very fast. Handbrake on as he comes out of the Waimate 50 hairpin. Just maybe lost maybe 100th of a second, maybe a little bit more as he hurls it down the hill now. 58.60 in the 16. He was under the minute there. Is he going to be under the minute here? You're right on board. He just gets a little bit wide coming out of the dipper. Now heading towards the Kumho Tyres finish line. 35.90 at the top. Is it going to transfer to another sub 1 minute clocking? 58.34 for Mike Tall. So he puts him there or thereabouts. Lorne is happy. Mike's got a smile on the face. That's a good run for the four-wheel drive upgrades Mitsubishi.
Not bad, except we just really couldn't see much on the uphill. Lots of dust, lots of sun. Really hard to drive up there, so couldn't really commit to that, unfortunately. So hopefully the next run will be better. Hopefully we'll get another run.
Well, this is the man that a lot of the big crowd have come to see. This is Hayden Paddon, our WRC star, and this is his i20 AP4++. They haven't got the big engine in it that was rumoured to have 800 horsepower, but they have got 500 under Hayden's right foot. He smashed the record in the top 16 with a 53.27. It was his record because he beat Sloan Cox's record, the 54.18 in the top 32. Listen to that engine roar as he races up to the top of the hill here at Ashley. And have a look at the smile on the navigator's face. She's absolutely loving this. He is either hard on the gas or hard on the brakes. Oh, and he clipped the bank, and that's taken some of the wing package off the Hyundai as he works his way through Heller's Notice. 32.88 was the split time in the top 16. Then he broke his own record, 53.27. Are we going to see another 53-second clocking? 33.59, so he's a little bit off. Maybe it was a touch with the bank as he came up the hill. Now he is firing it straight down the hill. Flying the left front wheel over the Noda's corner as he heads down towards the Kumho Tyres finish line. It's going to be another blisteringly fast run. 53.75, not quite the record, but certainly enough to shake up the opposition. Hayden's happy, the team are happy. He is the fastest so far in the top 8.
Yeah, no, it was good. I was just obviously just trying to, we just brought it back a notch for these next couple of runs just to see if we can get through to the top 2. So, yeah, just looking after it at the moment, and hopefully we can maybe dip into the 52s.
Well, the acid comes on. Sloan Cox now in the hill climb special, the Evo 8. Oh, and a terrible start for the man from Rotorua. The Taslow Engineering Mitsubishi bogged down off the line. And just have a listen, I think there's something going on in the engine. It doesn't sound quite right to me. Sounds very flat as he heads up the top of the hill. Best time so far is the 54.88. That was in the top 32. And something is amiss with the beast. Just doesn't sound 100%. You're right on board here with Sloan and also Louis Sharp, the 12-year-old karting sensation from Christchurch. Up into the Waimate 50 hairpin he comes. 38.47. Doesn't compare favourably with the 34.20 he did in the top 16. So there's a problem for the man from Rotorua, and the time is going to blow out. He has done a 54.32. That was the top 16. This is going to be nowhere near it, I would think. No, the clock ticks over towards 58 seconds. 59.91 from the ailing Taslow Engineering Hill Climb Special. There is an issue for Sloan Cox. I don't think you'll never wipe the smile off Louis Sharp's face. That was a pretty exciting ride, still under the minute.
We knew coming into this run that we weren't running on 4 cylinders. On that other shootout run, it did drop a cylinder, unfortunately. As far as we're aware, we didn't make it, so it's time for us to pack up and head home and rethink next year and come back even faster.
Yeah, it was actually quite exciting. It was a nice close battle, and it's always more enjoyable when there's competition. So yeah, real pity for Sloan. But hey, we're still got to get through as well, so it's definitely all over here.
Still, for 3 cylinders under a minute, it's a pretty cool time.
So we will cut them from 8 to 4. Hayden Paddon will be there, Matt Summerfield will be there, Michael Tall will be there, and Garrett Thomas will be there. Sadly, Sloan Cox will not. Welcome back to the Winmax Ashley Forest Rallysprint for 2019. Started with over 60 competitors, and now there are 4 left. Who's it going to be? Will it be Hayden Paddon? Will it be Matt Summerfield? Will it be Michael Tall? Or will it be Garrett Thomas? They're the 4. This man was a surprise last year. This is Garrett Thomas. His best time so far, 59.81.
Yeah, just go as fast as we can. Yeah, it's a bit of a surprise to be in here, so I didn't think this would happen. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Well, he did it last year. He made it to the top 4. He's done it in 2019 as well. The Wood End Automotive Racing sponsored Subaru WRX STI is on the journey. Could the unthinkable happen? Could Garrett Thomas get into the top 2? Because from 4, we will cut them to 2. His best time, the 59.81 in the top 8. The split was a 37.10. You riding on board with the very relaxed Garrett Thomas as he works his way through the kink. You can see the course really starting to cut up now, and all of the suspension travel used on the Subaru as he heads through Notas up towards the Waimate 50 hairpin, looking for that split time once again. Got to be around about the 37-second mark, 37.60, so it's a little bit slower than what we saw in the top 8. So maybe he's really going to have to hurl it down the hill now, and you're riding on board with him as he heads towards the Plough Hotel Dipper. Plenty of elevation from the left front as he works his way through the Dipper, and now through that little left-right kink down towards the Kumo Tyres finish line. Not going to be a sub 1 minute run, I don't think. No, it isn't. Just misses it. 1:00.61. So great performance for Garrett Thomas, but he won't go any further.
Nah, yeah, we had a slight problem with the car. It was missing a wee bit, so I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, see what happens.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
A great performance from Garrett Thomas, with maybe some issues inside the car, as you see on the replay. This is Matt Summerfield, a 3-time champion, ready to go again in his New Zealand Rally Spec Subaru Impreza. But as you heard him say in the earlier interview, running the biggest restrictor, and then he thought if he could get into the 4, they'd take the restrictor out, and I think that's exactly what they've done. So all concentration as he heads up towards the kink. The first obstacle on the way up. You're riding on board here. Oh, and he's got a little bit wide, and he's got a fight on his hands. He's soaring away at the wheel. He's got it back again, but you see the car, the attitude of the car changing completely. Hopefully he gets it back under control. Oh, and his entrance to the notice corner is compromised as well. It's all gone a little bit wrong here in the top 4 for Matt Summerfield. Let's have a look at the split time. 35.16. It's faster than he did in the top 8, and he was really soaring on the wheel. He really had to drive the Subaru up into Notas. Little bit offline, that's all it takes now. He heads down towards the Plough Dipper and down towards the finish line, looking for a time of around about the 57-second mark, maybe a little bit closer. Again, he's a little bit wide, flirting with the bank. This is going to be quick though. 56.65, the fastest ever in this car for Matt Summerfield. With all the problems, that might have been a 55-second run.
Yeah. Car's going good, real good. Getting it better driving-wise, so pretty tapped now.
So pretty happy Matt Summerfield downplaying these antics, but we saw it. This is coming out of the Dipper once again, getting very wide in the Castrol Subaru. Moments of contemplation for Mike and Lorna Tall. They're next to go.
Give it heaps up the hill and give it heaps down the hill. That's the plan.
So this is the 4-wheel drive upgrades. Mitsubishi Mirage runs Mitsubishi Evo gear, or maybe a little bit of a hesitation on the start, and that's all it's going to cost them. You ride with them here as they head up towards the kink in this all-important top 4 run. You heard Mike say they changed the aero package on the car. They've virtually rebuilt it since a massive accident at the Catlins Rally around about 6 weeks ago. He too a little bit wide coming out of the kink. Now sets up. Nice tight line as he works his way into the Heller Notas corner. Just a little bit sideways maybe, and that's all it's going to take to maybe knock off 100th of a second. You're on board as they round the big tractor tyre at the Waimate 50 hairpin, and maybe he lost a tenth or so there. 35.93 at the split. That pays a 35.69. So what do I know? He's faster at the split. He's faster coming down as well, and he's got a bit of a handful. He's got a problem. I think the left front's flat. Oh, this could be very, very serious indeed. There's a lot of high-speed corners to come. Luckily, oh, and he goes way, way wide coming down towards the finish line. That was so close to a big accident for the Christchurch couple in the Mirage. A flat tyre at the most inopportune time. Scary, scary moments for Mike and Lorna Tall, and you can see it in the body length. Have a look at it here. Look how wide he is. He's out onto the grass. You normally don't come back for something like that.
Yeah, that was not ideal. Got a flat tyre on the way down the hill, and we're lucky to finish because we just about went off in the last corner. And it went flat in the Dipper somewhere, I think. Very scary.
There you see it on the replay, the left front completely flat. Tyres popped off the bead. Scary stuff here at Ashley Forest. And if we check out the onboard action here, I think it's about now that Lorna decides, oh, maybe it wasn't a good idea to drive with hubby today. And then calm and relax through the finish line. This is Hayden Paddon. What's he going to do here? Is he just going to bank a time? Is he going to go for the doctor? He told me once that you never know with Ashley Forest and rallies such as this. He said the road changes conditions so much, you've got to go hard out. He's already got the record. That was one of his ambitions. He did tell me 2 years ago he thought you could get up here in 53 seconds. He's proved that you can do that. Are we going to see something special, or is he going to wait for the final? This is the top end of the top four, and this is Hayden Paddon. Came here as a 14-year-old. First competition here in North Canterbury. Started racing karts at 6 years of age. He's a multiple New Zealand rally champion. He's the Rally Argentina champion from a couple of years ago. 33.84 at the split, so it is a little bit slower than what we saw in the top 8. So maybe he is nursing the equipment. He told us before that it's hard on the equipment. They're at their absolute limit. The drivers are as well. We're still going to see a pretty smart time, but I just wonder if he's got something left for the two. Down through the finish line he comes. The Kumo tyres finish a 54.41. Most people would give their eye teeth for a time like that. Hayden Paddon is just cruising. There's more to come from the Hyundai. Have a look at this as he comes through the kink, just gets a little bit wide, not quite as severe as Matt Summerfield, but maybe it cost him a bit of time. Down through the dipper, no problem at all for Hayden Paddon.
Yeah, just saving the car. We want to try and see if we can get to the 52, so we're saving everything now for the last run, and we'll give it a decent crack.
So from 4, we will cut them to 2. We will say goodbye to Michael Tall and Garrett Thomas, and then it will be Hayden Paddon versus Matt Summerfield for all the marbles here at the Winmax Brakes Ashley Forest Rallysprint for 2019. So it has come down to 2. It is Summerfield versus Paddon. Both of them have raced regularly on the way up to the top, and now they'll do it again here at Ashley.
Obviously, Matt's a pretty regular rally competitor, so we've competed against Matt for quite a number of years, so it's good that he's doing a phenomenal job in the Subaru, so yeah, it should be a good little battle.
Well, 3 times a winner of this iconic event, Matt Summerfield. His dad Les watching on, very proud, I am sure. The Castrol-Edge Subaru. What can he do? Can he match the times of Hayden Paddon? This is the top 2, and it's Summerfield that goes first. Once again, a great launch for the Subaru. You ride with Matt Summerfield as he works his way up towards the kink. Now, he had problems in the top 4. Let's hope he's got that sorted out. He's bolted on new tyres. They've had a bit of a fine fiddle with it. And once again, soaring away at the wheel. So once again, this time the approach to the kink wasn't good. And he clips the bank as well. We saw Hayden Paddon do that in the top 8, but it didn't really slow him down. Matt's got it back under control now. A little bit of a wide exit coming out of Helenotas down towards the split. All the times not been anything. 35.38. Now, is that going to be good enough? Hayden Paddon's been up there in 33 and change. You're riding here with Matt Summerfield, heading down towards the Plough Hotel dipper. Nice and tidy through there as he runs down through this left-right kink combination and heads down towards the Kumo tyres finish line. It's going to be a pretty smart time, 56.90. That is a pretty darn good time for Matt Summerfield. Not the fastest he's run today, did a 56.65. But that is a respectable time. All the pressure now on Hayden Paddon to see if he can go faster. Last minute preparations for the Hyundai i20 AP4+++. Not running their preferred race engine, which was rumoured to have 800 horsepower, but 500 is doing the tricks. New front tyres on the front of the Hyundai as well. Paddon is out for something special here. He is the record holder at the moment with the 53.27. Are we going to see something special? He loves competing here. He's been doing it for a long, long time. He loves this car. His team have done a marvellous job for him. This is 3rd time the charm for Hayden Paddon. Came here in the previous 2 years, had mechanical issues. knew that he had a fast car, because when the car stopped last year, he thought a 53 was on the cards. We've seen a 53 already. What are we going to see here? Slightly different lines coming out of the kink this time. Maybe it was a little bit faster. I'm not 100% sure of that. 33.59 was the split in the top 8. 33.84 in the top 4. This is even faster. 32.77. There's never been a sub 33 split. This is going to be amazing for Paddon. Look at the way he just floats the left front through the dipper as he heads down towards the finish line now. Forget about 53. We're in rarefied air here. Are we going to see a 52? We do see a 52. 52.77. The Hyundai bears the scars. There'll be a grin on the face of Hayden Paddon. That's the fastest there's ever been here by a considerable margin at the Winmax Ashley Forest Rallysprint. The big crowd appreciate what they've seen. The show they've seen here from Hayden Paddon. That was special. Have a look at it on the replay. This is coming out of the kink. Tidy, slightly different lines than we've seen before. If anything, if you were being hypercritical, he was a fraction wide coming out of the hairpin. It mattered not a jot. Through the dipper, perfect. Down through the finish line, 52.77.
And all weekend, I think Hayden Paddon and Sloan Cox had been about 4 seconds ahead of you. There was nothing really you could do, but you drove the wheels off that Subaru. I think your dad will be proud.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it wasn't the goal to come here and win. You know, we wanted to win our class, and we did that. And this is just a bonus, really. And yeah, I don't think there's much left in the car, but yeah, try to get every last bit out of it.
52.77 at the start of the weekend. Did you think you could go that fast?
Trust me, after everything that we've been through this week, absolutely not. But huge hats off to the guys. You know, they've been working midnight, I think, every day for a couple of weeks. So it's been a massive team effort just to get here, even with this engine. So huge credit to them. Really, really enjoyable weekend, and luckily for us, it was third time lucky.
Well, the question's got to be asked: what can the time become? Are we going to one day see a sub 50-second clocking? Remember, Hayden Paddon had the 500 horsepower engine on board, not the preferred 800 horsepower. He still smashed the record. He still thinks there's more to come. You have to come back next year to the Winmax Brakes Ashley Forest Rallysprint and find out. You're on board for this record-smashing run, and just savour the speed as he rockets up the hill well over 120 miles an hour in the old language, heading into Hellas Notas and flying down the other side through the Plough Hotel dipper. This is the run that made history. The Kumo tyres finish line flashes up with a 52.77. Unbelievable stuff here at Ashley.